Hey, Vsauce, Michael here. I'm not Michael or Vsauce, but welcome back to another Sunday vlog. I'm not a musical person. I am actually. If you go to the video posted before this, I am a musical-ish person. I do music sometimes. I don't really do it as like a thing, but I do music. That's what I did yesterday. If any of you saw that, I released a piece of music around 4 minutes. Go check it out. Maybe I'll do that more often now that I'm a little bit more confident in my abilities. I'm not really that much confident. But anyway, topic of the day today, as I forget to turn my light on. That really makes much of a difference. Vlogs, people. They're difficult. There we go. There you go. Is that better? Yes. Okay, so today we are celebrating 100 subscribers. Kind of can't believe I get here. I started out this channel just as sort of a thing for me to do as fun, and then spread around a little, mostly because of my family and friends. So I would like to thank all of you. And in condolences to that thank you, I've made a cake. There's a montage of me making a cake now. Hey there. So what you're hearing now is the beautiful sound of my voice recorded through an Audacity program, as I'm going to now take you through the process of making a cake. What you want to do is you want to take 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, at least in the recipe that I'm following. You want to go ahead and dump those in. Then you want to take 1/4 cup of Hershey's flour. And what you want to do is it's cocoa powder that you're taking. Ignore my mistakes here. I'm doing this in one take. Then you want to take a cup of sugar, and you want to dump a cup of sugar in. As you can see, that's what I'm doing now. And obviously this footage has been sped up, because if it wasn't sped up, this would be a 20-minute process of me just making a cake. And I don't think any of us really want to see that. And then what you do is you take your baking soda and baking powder, and you put 1 teaspoon each of those in. And that's always a lot of fun, because you have to make sure that you put the right amount in. Because if you don't put the right amount in, what's going to happen is you're going to mess everything up. Everything's going to taste bad. And then you're going to be really, really sad. So as you can see, I'm doing that now. As I go ahead and put those in, I'm going to go and put everything back that I don't need right now. I take out some salt. Go ahead and put in a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, because that's always the right amount of salt to put in. Don't want to put too much in. Now what I'm putting in is a teaspoon of instant coffee powder, because that's always really helpful to making a cake. And then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and mix all your dry ingredients together a little bit to make sure that they're well incorporated, and you want to make sure that they're ready for when you do put the dry ingredients in. Then what you want to do is you want to get a beater ready, an electric beater, or you could whisk it by hand if you really wanted to, but I don't really recommend it. What you want to do is you want to take a 1/2 cup of oil, go ahead and dump a 1/2 cup of oil in there, then wait and make sure it's all out. And then you continue shaking it in there until it's all gone. And then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and take a 1/2 cup of hot, warm water, microwave for 30 seconds probably is good. And then what you want to go ahead and do is you want to go ahead and set up your hand mixer. Plug it in, as you can see I'm doing there, and go ahead and beat those ingredients together momentarily as you wait, and then once you're done, you go ahead and take out some milk. Get a 1/2 cup of cold milk. Go ahead and put that in. Go ahead and put your milk back, because that's always safe. Beat those things together. Keep beating, just, until they're beaten together. Then you want to go ahead and take some vanilla essence. I recommend a teaspoon of vanilla essence. You want to go ahead and put that in there. Take your beater again. Go ahead and beat that in. Whisk it in. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I'm not completely sure. Then you want to go ahead and take an egg, crack it in a separate bowl to make sure that there is no shell or no, any of that in there. That's what I'm observing there. Then you go ahead and beat the egg separately. And you whisk and you whisk and you beat it, and you whisk and you whisk and you whisk and you whisk and you whisk. And it's pretty fun, actually, just standing there. I wanted to use this audio, but then I thought about it, and I was like, no, we're not going to do that, because that's pointless, and I don't want to do that. Go ahead and put the egg into the rest of the wet ingredients. Get it all in there. Then you go ahead and whisk that for a little while. Make sure that all the flavors get to know each other really well. And then you go ahead and take away everything. Then you want to go ahead and put your wet ingredients in once you've cleaned everything up to make sure you're not making too much of a mess. You want to go ahead and put them in batches. I prefer 3. What we're going to do is if you want to put 1 batch in, go ahead and mix that thoroughly. Put a second batch in. Go ahead and mix that as thoroughly as you possibly can. Keep mixing until all of it is gone and you've got sort of a thick batter. And then you want to go ahead and put the last remaining bit of it in. And you want to go ahead and use a spatula attachment thingy to mix as well as you can by hand and continue mixing and mix 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 and mix. Misk? That's not a word. Anyway, once you are done mixing everything, you want to go ahead and make sure that that attachment, your spatula looking thing, is clean before you then get your electric hand mixer and go ahead and mix that thoroughly. Now this is probably the most boring process. Now what I'm doing here is I'm getting out my cake tin and multi-handedly using some multitasking skills to get some flour out of the cabinet as well, because you're going to need that to go ahead and dust your cake tin once you are finished beating everything together for the flour. The batter, the cake batter. I'm never really done a cooking thing before, so this is new to me. But anyway, once you have that done, what you want to do is make sure you clean that off again. Go ahead and go at it again for a little while. You want a thick-ish batter. Make sure that you want to incorporate a lot of air in there just to make sure that you get good rise in your cake, because that's always important. Now what you want to do is pour some oil into your tin. Go ahead and spread that oil out everywhere. I'm really bad at dusting tins. That's something that I found out. What you want to do is you want to make sure that oil is in a thin layer everywhere. Preheat your oven, 350 Fahrenheit, not degrees. Now what you want to do is you want to dust your tin. You want to take some flour, you want to dump it in the tin, you want to spread it around everywhere to make sure that your cake does not stick to the sides of your cake tin, because if it does, then you're going to have a handful of a time getting that out. Clean stuff up because you made a mess of your kitchen, because that's what I did, because that's what I do when I bake or cook anything, really. I make a mess of everything. But anyway, you can see I'm dusting the tin. Once I'm finished with that, I go ahead and rebeat some air into the batter because I'm afraid that it had deflated a little bit. It probably was okay, but I just followed it through step anyway. Nearly spilled a bunch of oil, and then I put it back because I was like, let's undo that. And then I go ahead and pour my batter into the cake tin. And we are waiting and waiting, and I'm going to get it all out just to make sure that there's nothing left in there, because that's always another important part. You want to make sure all of it is out. You don't want to have a bunch of remaining cake batter in there, just so, you're wasting cake at that point. Why would you do that? Who wastes cake, guys? If you waste cake, what are you doing? Don't do that. Okay, understood? Got it? All right, there you go. Go ahead and clean up a little bit, as I'm doing here. Don't make a mess of your kitchen. Don't leave it a mess, because that's really disappointing. Go ahead and put your cake, once your oven is now preheated, go ahead and put the cake in the oven. And then I recommend waiting 30 to 45 minutes. Check. You will know when it is done when you stick a knife in and there are no crumbs on that knife. Hope you enjoyed that montage of me making a cake. It was pretty fun to make, actually. The final product I'll have by the end of this video at some point. I don't know. Anyway, so the discussion of the day today is, of course, football. Why is it football? Because for those of you who don't know, the football season is back. Actually, both football seasons will be back. American football and the other football, better known as soccer over here in these United States, and known as football, well, basically everywhere else. But anyway, football season is back, and I'm excited. You know why? Because it is finally something new on the television. Holy crap. Is this what people felt like back in the 70s when there was some new TV series that premiered? I imagine, because I know that a lot of the older TV series, not to say that new ones don't run as long, but a lot of older TV shows ran for 10, 12 years. And it's how did you keep up? Why would you cope with something for that long? Not to be fair, there is one other really specific show that I'm talking about that really did run that has been running for just that long, and it's it's that really show, that one show about some doctors in a hospital somewhere. It's pretty popular. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called, anyway. Don't know why I did that. But yeah, I don't understand like really long running TV series, right? It's like, I get it if a TV series runs for like 4 or 5 years, you get, 5 solid seasons. Good, great. That's conclude it. 5 seasons is enough. You do not need 12 years of a single TV series with the same people for that long. People get bored. But I mean, I'm not a TV producer. I don't know. If it makes money, I guess it makes sense. But like, guys, come on. Why does TV get worse as it goes along? Because people stop being interested and the storylines start to repeat. People hate it, and then it gets boring, and then it dies a slow death and never really ends, but it's already ended a long time ago. But it doesn't really end until the producer says, yeah, we're done, and then does a short season of it at the end, which is really annoying because that way you have to not only, I mean, if you have been watching it all the way along through, it's like a 13 season show or whatever, that 13th season is only like 7 episodes, and you're like, wait, this isn't what I signed up for. I want a full, like, if it's a concluding season, I want a full, good concluding season. It's why The Office was bad in its like last 2 seasons because, well, for one, Steve Carell left, and that was like a big gaping hole, but it had just gone on too long. And I think that's sort of a problem sometimes, even with movie series. Is Fast and Furious, for example, they're on what? Fast and Furious 9 now. Good job. Nice. I don't really know like the point of it, but I mean, Fast and Furious 9, sure. Hey, whatever. That's really like, that's kind of just where I want to end off here, is that you don't need that many seasons or movies in a franchise. 3, 4, even 5, that's enough. They just have to be good stuff. Got it, producers? I know you're not watching this, but you'd better be watching. The second topic of discussion today is much more, I don't know, psychological based, I guess you could call it, sort of. I mean, not really, but it is pretty psychological based, the other part of today's discussion. And I really want it to be for a couple of different reasons. Because one, this is a phenomenon that a lot of us experience more often than we think. Now, I don't know if that is showing up. I'll move back a little bit just so you can see what that says. That says chimera. Now, what is a chimera? Chimera is actually, what chimera actually is, literally, is a monster from Greek mythology. She was, not a he. She was an amalgamation of like a bunch of different monsters like put together, and so it's a chimera. And today, chimera refers to a person or a thing that is like many, like sort of like, I don't want to say double-sided, but many-sided, right? Often in a physical aspect, right? So if you have like cats, right? There's these things. This is actually where I got this idea. Talking about this is there's this thing called chimera cats, and half of their face or body is black. The other half is a different color, gray, whatever you want to call it, right? And what I want to talk about is why are we chimera, if that makes sense. Like humans, right? Why do humans have this tendency of being chimera? Like, if you get what I mean, right? In a certain group, will act one way, and then in another group will act a completely different way. But when those two personalities clash, that's who we really are, right? Like, chimera is not the monster chimera was not just a dragon, was not just, I don't know, a flying thing. It was the amalgamation of all of those things together. So why do we do that socially? Why are we different in one group and different and versus another, right? Why do you act differently around, let's say, a group that you, I don't know, play sports with versus a group that you just hang out with on the weekends, like just, it's like your best group of friends or whatever. Why do we do that? Like, why can't we just be the same person around everyone? Is it because we want to fit in? Is it because we are weirdos? Is it because our brains don't allow us to? I mean, it's a good question, right? Like, if you think about it, why are we? That's like a defining characteristic of humanity, is that we are sort of kind of two-sided a lot of times. We act one way another time, and then a completely different way the other time. It just makes you wonder why you gotta do that, man. I mean, is it really worth it acting 2 different ways a lot of times? Probably not. So I ask you, act the same way around everyone. Nice, kind, don't be rude. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. You're welcome for whatever this was. I don't know. So I won't be able to show you the cake that I made, but I'll flash a picture of it somewhere after this thing ends. But basically what I want to say is thank you. Thank you so much for 100 subscribers. Let's look forward to the next 100. And yeah, stay tuned for cool content like this, for me doing stupid things on camera, for me singing, for me teaching you, and being scared of catapults. So be ready for that. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.